were all the right questions. So I felt really good about how it all kind of came together Thursday night, and I thought the feeling was mostly really strong. Who was there in the room other than me? You were there, Peter was there. Would y'all agree for the most part it was a positive night? Yeah, I thought so too, and I'm looking forward to seeing what we can get accomplished over the next month or two with the city. So very excited about that, and so excited that you are here this morning. Let us stand as we are able, and let's sing Every Time I Feel the Spirit. Let's sing together. Let's do it.
Every time I
That's one of my favorites. I love singing that one with you. Let's have a seat as you are able. Thank you. All right, just got a few announcements to get us started this morning. The first is I just want us all to be aware, Eli, that we do have a website that people can go to continue to get more information about our project. That website is nccproject.org. We have just posted the latest images of our rendering for the housing project on the website. So if anyone asks you, you can send them straight to that link to get all that good information, all right? And then next, Eli, have just a few announcements coming up. We're gonna take next Sunday as a rest and renewal Sunday, so we won't be here. We'll be off doing whatever we wanna do on our Sundays. We will not be here. And then the following Sunday, on February 8th at 9:45, we'll have a congregational meeting for our members here in the sanctuary. And then my friend, Mark Turnbull, who is a Grammy-nominated musician who is just awesome. I've gotten to know him recently over the past year especially. I've known him over the years, but last year we really connected and really shared a lot and got to know each other more deeply, his spiritual journey, his music, his passion. And for those who don't remember, last year he did a one-man show for us called All Your Thinking. And it was such a beautiful presentation that we've agreed to bring him back to do part 2 of All Your Thinking on February 8th, the same day as our congregational meeting, which will be at 9:45, and then Mark will do his one-man show at 11 a.m., okay? And then the following Sunday, on the 15th of February, we will do our annual Blessing of the Animals ceremony in the courtyard. So if you have a pet friend or companion, or if you know someone who has a pet friend or a companion, and they want to get a blessing from us here at NCC, they can come on February 15th at 11 a.m. for our annual Blessing of the Animals. All right?
Pastor Rod, if
Yes.
somebody has a companion or a spouse that you consider an animal, you can bring them too.
Yeah, that too.
That would work.
That too, yeah.
So-
Can be a friend, a spouse, that's right. Even a spider if you want to do a spider. All right, so we've got a beautiful calendar here. Any questions about any of this on the screen? Any questions? Okay, great. Oh, Sue. Please, come on up, add a couple things. Thank you.
First off, we have our one and only January birthday, Scarlett
Oh,
Alexander.
birthdays, yes, birthdays.
So happy birthday to Scarlett.
Awesome.
And I'd also like for all of you to pray for our dear friend Michelle McCormick, who is facing back surgery soon.
Mike, I think I saw Scarlett outside, right? Did I see Scarlett recently? No? But I saw Scarlett last week for Monuments, right? I want you to tell Scarlett that we did this for her today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scarlett. Happy birthday to you. That was for Scarlett. That was for Scarlett. All right, next slide, Eli. I want you to go with me into our gathering words for the morning. I'm going to read the ones on the screen next, Eli, that are in this font, and then you'll read the ones that are in bold letters, okay? I'll start. Teacher, the crowd asks, what should we do? This is you. I want to stay on that slide. Go back, Eli. I want to read this one more time. I'll read it with you because I love it so much. So let's read it together. If you have 2 shirts, give one away. Hold on to hope. Live like we belong to one another. Speak the truth. Look for love. Do the good that is yours to do. And then I'll read this next one myself. And it's all that easy. And it's all that hard. Let's read together. Let us celebrate this day and its mysteries with joy and wonder. May it be so. All right, next slide, Eli. Thank you. For those who don't know, we lost a dear friend and member of this community on last Friday. We said goodbye and so long to Jim McBride last Friday afternoon. And for those of us who know, you know me, I don't ever really believe that we lose our loved ones. They just change form and the relationship changes. Y'all know that about me. But nevertheless, Jim McBride's body has transitioned. And we want to dedicate our gathering today to him, to the McBride family, the Baker family, and all those who have loved and appreciated and experienced the gift and heart of Jim McBride over the years. So let's have a moment of silence for Jim and all hearts concerned at this time. And as we do that, I'm going to light our candles for the morning. Yes, Jim and Karen have been reunited, absolutely. I light these candles for Jim and Karen. May it be so. Let's hold this moment of silence together, continuing for Jim McBride as he soars amongst the stars, as he's reunited with his Karen, as we celebrate his life. We love you, Jim. We will miss your smile. We will miss your singing. We will miss your laughter. But we know all those things are imbued in our heart. And we need only remember and be reconnected with you. The friendship remains. The relationship is strong. The hope is there. Let's continue to hold this moment for Jim McBride. Okay. Next slide, Eli. Thank you. A song that Mary LaRusso loved singing with you is one that I love to sing with you now. It's called I've Got Peace Like a River. And I think as I sing it now, it rings ever more true in my heart. It carries a special meaning for me now, because even as I have said goodbye to Jim in his physical form, I realize that his spirit remains and that the best of him lives in us. And that brings me so much peace at this time with you. Let's sing I've Got Peace Like a River.
Thinking about Jim missing his voice, but I could hear it. I can hear both of their voices. This is a great Stevie Wonder song. I called my son this morning and to just say I love you. Of course, they're in Nashville getting snow and ice. So what did they do last night? They went to an ice hockey game, which seemed appropriate. But they're having a great time. But thinking of the McBrides, call the ones you love today. Stevie Wonder and No New. No summer's high. you want to do it again? You want to sing it one more time? I'm not doing anything. Oh, I just called. I just called to say. Now, of my heart, of my cha-cha-cha. Yes? Supposed to be a modulation in there, I think.
Yeah.
Isn't there?
Yeah.
Is there a modulation? I mean, I haven't modulated. I'm
I
too
heard a
old to
little.
modulate right now, so I
Yeah,
don't.
I heard a little. I heard a little. Yeah. I think Jim was singing with us. He's known for doing that. He's known for that. By the way, when we were with him on Thursday, I had the gift of joining with the family and singing the doxology. Y'all remember that? Can we sing it now as a moment of confirmation and affirmation of love for a life well lived, a man we will always remember for what he brought into our lives? Let's sing the doxology in memory of our own Jim McBride. Let us stand as we are able to sing it together. The song simply is, praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise God, all creatures here below. Praise God above the heavenly hosts. Praise Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Amen. Yeah, that's great. You can sit. We love you, Jim, and we will always remember, never forgetting, always connected in love. Thank you, my friend. All right, Sue Cross and Jen, come on up. And before you read our peace candle for the morning, I want to dedicate this reading of our peace candle for all of us in this world, our community, the city of Minneapolis, the family of Alex Preddy, and everyone involved, the killing of a U.S. citizen yet again, and prayers for our nation, for we enter these uncertain days together, and we're seeking for a miracle unseen, a hope through the chaos, a path through the uncertainties. So I pray a special prayer for our nation, pray a special prayer for our communities, our Laguna Beach, our families, our friends. I pray for peace. Let's do that together.
There are days when the whole world feels like it's on fire. There are days when we are inundated with bad news, days when we are up to our eyes in grief, days when we have reached the end of our rope.
On those days, we reach for what is enduring. On those days, we return to this brave space. On those days, we light our candle for peace. On those days, we sing. On those days, in the spirit of love and compassion, we fight tooth and nail to hold on to hope.
So in an effort to release the fears that trap us, we name them and give them up to the universe.
For wars that cannot find an end, for children who cannot find food, for teenagers who cannot find peace, for people who are lonely, for people spending their days in the hospital, for the tender challenge of every new beginning, may we be reminded that we too can make a difference.
When the weight of the world overwhelms us, may we be reminded our dream looks like giving your second coat away.
May mystery infuse us with hope, swat away our insecurities, downplay all of our doubts. Change always comes from small acts of great love.
No, there's one more line. Can you read that?
So with hope in our hearts, we roll up our sleeves. With hope in our hearts, we strive to do the good that is ours to do.
And so we do. We strive to do the good that is ours to do. We strive to do the good that is ours to do. Say that with me. We strive to do the good that is ours to do. One more time. We strive to do the good that is ours to do. Next slide, Eli. I don't want to sing it today. I just want to read the words with you. Let's let these words sink into our heart at this time. Usually we sing it, but for now, I just want to be with these words in this moment. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, in this we live. One more time. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, in this we live. I say those words for me, for you, our community, our whole nation, our nation that is hurting, our nation that's in pain. And I say it for all the trailblazers, all the hearts and minds who are working so hard, the folks who bring us hope, the angels who are doing the good work that is theirs to do. Those who remind us that even in the midst of all the stuff we're struggling with and all the pain that surrounds us, there's a whole lot of good that is yet still happening. And if we can yet just grasp that piece of that fruit in front of us, that we can do our own part of that good, that we can do the steps that we can take, the part that we can contribute. Somehow, some way, the universe expands. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, in this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, and together we share, in this we live. And so it is. Next slide, Eli. So today, I had this desire to reflect with you about the experience that we recently had going to the Geffen Mocha Museum to check out monuments, the exhibit that was placed there for us to remember and to recollect, to recall the story of our nation's history, to never be in a place where we ever forget that story, because that story is a part of the journey of America itself. And we play a part in preserving its lessons, preserving its truths, preserving all the wisdom that it has for us, so that we never repeat the history, we never repeat those things. We always move forward. We always move higher and higher towards the completion of our American experiment. It's important that the stories never be discarded. And so I'm glad that those monuments were recovered. I'm glad that they were retrieved. I'm glad that they weren't thrown away or melted down or even worse. I'm glad that last week we got to see that story and be reminded. And I asked this week for a few people to send me their reflections on the monuments exhibit. And many of you sent me back some incredible reflections, and I'm really grateful for that. I'm not going to say any names, but I'm just going to read a few highlights from what I received. Folks who loved the delicate balance that was shared of describing the difference between grace and rage. I thought that was excellent. Someone who said that they really enjoyed being close to the monuments, to really experience the breadth and the real power of them, the sway they must have had over generations, the stories that they told themselves about living in the South and what it meant to be in the South, the good, the bad, and everything in between. And then someone else told me, I want to be thankful for the trip that we had because it brought me a kind of respect and awareness of the American story in a way that I didn't fully understand. I was raised in the North to believe that everything about the South was bad. But what the exhibit showed me was that there are actual people behind these stories. And we do best to learn about them, what they cared about, their motivations, even theirs. Because if we can get to the root of that, we just might understand more about what made the South tick so many years ago. Someone else wrote, compassion is what I have for what we experience today. I'm now expanded even more in my thinking about what was called the lost cause. I have sympathy and a lot of hurt all at the same time. I can see how these stories have meant so much to so many people and how our nation continues to struggle with them even to this day. I just hope that I can contribute my part in helping to dismantle racism once and for all in America. And then I got a couple more here. One step that I would like to take is to keep learning and keep applying the lessons that I learned to current situations. And I was even amazed to see the monument itself for Robert E. Lee. It's so massive, the breadth of it like a football field, at least 40 feet tall with a 20-foot statue on top of it. That's a whole lot of granite. That's a big old story. I took on different meanings throughout the entire various parts of the whole exhibit. I want to keep learning and keep applying. And then lastly, a powerful reflection of these pieces against the backdrop of such immense Confederate monuments. How much we as a nation have forgotten from our own understanding, or even omitted from our own understanding about the realities of racism in America. I'm so glad that our church, my church, is doing our part by at least building affordable housing on our site, because it moves the needle for economic justice. And for me, I realized that when I woke up this morning, I had choices. I could choose what I would eat for breakfast. I could choose whether I would drink coffee or tea. I could choose whether I was going to call my mom at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. I had some incredible choices, and I would like to think that so did you. We had some wonderful options to consider when we woke this morning in our little beautiful corner of the world. Those choices were ours to make, ours to live into. We awoke to that whole list of options. And at the same time, we awoke to a society that continues to be characterized by what I'm calling systemic racism, institutional, deep-seated. You see, we had choices over here on the one hand, and then we had this other thing over here that, well, whether we opt in or not, it's always there. I'm calling it systemic institutional racism. The idea being that when I woke up this morning, I didn't have the choice to say, I choose to live in a systemic, institutionally racist society. And I also didn't say, I choose not to believe in an institutionally racist, systemic society. I didn't have that choice. It greeted me this morning when I woke up. It surrounds us. It's imbued in so much of who we are as Americans. So much that oftentimes we don't even realize it. We don't even see it. It's not even apparent to who we are and how we operate as Americans. It just is there. It's normalized, heaven forbid. And so all of that story that we recounted last week by going to monuments, it reminded me of the legacy of separation, the legacy of discrimination, the legacy of racism that has been character, a part and parcel with the story of this nation since its founding. And we don't have to go all the way back to see examples. We just can look at the last century to see it for the truth that it carries. I mean, we don't have universal health care in this country because when the New Deal was being implemented, some really calculated folks, mostly white, got together and said, no, we can't do that because we don't want to extend health care access to black folks. And at the same time, a whole lot of white folks lost out on health care as well. So it didn't just affect people of color, it affected poor whites as well. That's how systemic racism works. And even more than that, we look at the story of ICE and how it's working right now in 2026. I would bet my hat, the one that I'm not wearing, that over the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months, we are going to see a situation where communities of color and those therein will be targeted by these thugs. Because that's how systemic racism works. So I know what I'm saying today is both past and present, part and parcel with the story of America. It's everywhere. And what gives me hope is that exhibitions like monuments, they keep saying to us, wait 1 second. Because while all of this is happening over here, you must be reminded of the glory and beauty that you are, the created thing that you are, the image of love in which you were made. There's something wonderful about you. And even when you don't realize it, even when you're not fully self-aware of it, the truth of it remains that you are children of love. And as long as you breathe, as long as you exist, there's always a chance. There's always an option. There's always a way to exceed, to go above and beyond the muck and mire in which we find ourselves. Love is always calling us to a higher place, always. And so I'm glad that while I took my sabbatical last year, I had the opportunity to dig more deeply into my own story. You know, I studied my own family history. Because if I'm going to stand up here and talk to y'all about story, I have to know the remnants of my own. So what did I do? I went to D.C. and I went to the African American Cultural Heritage Museum, and I took the time to talk to some experts in efforts to trace the old, wonderful, glorious steps of my own family. Because I was curious. I wanted to know how we came to be in this country, how we came to be a part of the American experiment, how we came to be a part of this glorious, beautiful opportunity to be a gift, a city on a hill for the whole world. Because, yeah, there's a whole lot to be upset about. There's a whole lot to be angry about. There's a whole lot to be enraged about. And at the same time, there's a whole lot to be in graceful acceptance and graceful joy and graceful hope for what we can still be as Americans. Even now in 2026, both are true at the same time. I got this grace and I got this rage percolating all at once in my soul. And so what helps me is to know where I came from, because if I know where I came from, I just might be able to gain some wisdom from that I could take with me for these days ahead. So what did I do? I went to D.C. and I talked to the experts about my own family story. This black man who grew up in Memphis, Tennessee, who found his way to Laguna Beach, California. I wanted to know what happened before that. And even though we didn't get all the story, even though we didn't get all the answers, we learned enough to know that perhaps my family made its way to Arkansas, Mississippi, Tennessee, by way of the Carolinas. So somewhere from the Carolinas, we made our way over to Tennessee, well, Mississippi, Arkansas, and then Tennessee. Now, we got to do some DNA testing. We got to do some tracing. We got some stuff to do. But just that little nugget of knowledge, even that little piece of information, the Carolinas, it opened me up. It caused me to have more questions and more curiosity. Who were the slaveholding families responsible for my story? Are they still around? What are their last names? What are they involved in? How far do their tentacles go? Are they involved in American business or industry? Do they have international connections? If they're from Europe, what parts of Europe? All the stories that come with knowing more and wanting to know more. It has blessed me immensely. I stand before you today with more knowledge. Not all the knowledge, but more knowledge. With humility and awareness that I'm just one speck in a grander story. That I'm just one part of a beautiful work of art that is being lived out in me even as I speak. I'm going to learn more. I'm going to grow more. I'm going to expand more. My family will learn more through this process. And I want to believe that our commitment to the American cause will grow deeper and deeper and deeper as well, because we found home. We found home. I've always loved living here, but having that knowledge about where I came from, that's like icing on the cake. And I love to eat. So with all that truth in mind and all that hope that I have in my heart for America, and as an American, I look at that racism that I talked about previous, and I see it in mainstream media. I see it in social media. I see it in images that are portrayed by our press. I see it in some movies and even some portrayals of people of color that are less than savory. I see those negative images being perpetrated, and I can see how it reinforces. It recoils. It pushes down more deeply those feelings, those remnants of systemic racism over and over and over and over again, so much so that people don't even realize that it's being reinforced as they take it all in, but yet it's still there. I look at my own privilege as a black man, and I realize that how my own education over the years has made it possible for me to even at times ignore that prevalence of white racism and white supremacy and whiteness thinking. Even I can sometimes fall susceptible to that because I'm enjoying the fruits of my own privilege, being here with you in Laguna Beach, California. I'm not immune to it either, is my point. And that's why we must be vigilant. That's why we must be aware. That's why we must go to monuments. That's why we must have those stories. That's why we can never forget. That's why we must never discard. Because when we do, even we who have the heart of hope, who have the heart of joy, who have that hopeful feeling, even we, if we lose that connection to where we came from, we lose the very soul of ourselves, this country, the very humanity in which we've been blessed to enjoy. Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. You know, as I say these words, I'm thinking about a story in the Hebrew scripture, the Tower of Babel. And for those who don't remember, the Tower of Babel is a very interesting story because on the one hand, it talks about the kind of means by which Americans and folks all over the world came to be diversely scattered. You know, not just being in certain specific human habitats, but actually being all over the world. It's a way of thinking about how folks used to be together in one space and then came to be scattered all across this beautiful planet. It's a beautiful story on that one hand. But then on the other hand, when you look at the other side of it, you begin to realize that it has some very interesting lessons to teach as well about the us and them in which we find ourselves now. Because when you think about it, the people were creating a tower that in their mind was somehow bring them closer to the Creator. That they felt that if they could perfect this, they could somehow be like God. If not God, God's self. And they had this desire to somehow reach this place where they could somehow be separated from everybody else. We'll do our part, and we'll do it not thinking about the greater good. We'll do our part without taking care of everybody else. We'll do our part without being mindful of our neighbor. We'll take care of ourselves, but not think about those who are less than us. We'll do all this stuff over here so that we can have the fruits all to ourselves, but those over here, they really won't get a chance to enjoy all that. The few of us over here will enjoy all of this good stuff, and then for the rest of them, not so much. You see, that story has many meanings, and I'm giving them to you now, so that you can struggle with that just like me. Because when I think about the promise of this country and how it was founded with all those beautiful ideals of freedom and self-expression and then electoral politics where people actually get a chance to choose who leads them, not a king or a monarch. And then you think about the fact that we came here with all this great hope in our hearts for what we could create as an American nation. That's one side of our story that we venerate and we celebrate and we write books about it and we do movies and documentaries about it. And then on the other hand, we sometimes ignore how racist works and racist values have allowed us to ignore and omit that along the way, some have been forgotten. They've been discarded. People of color have been downtrodden. They've been put down. And it's not just them. It's also the poor whites and the less powerful who've been affected by the same remnants of discrimination and lifelessness that I'm talking about this morning. There are two sides of the story. And what monuments allows us to remember is never forget both. Never forget both. Because they always have something to tell us about ourselves. Always. Now, there may be someone sitting, listening to me talk about the tower and the monolith of racism, and you may be thinking about yourself, Rod, but I'm not a racist. This doesn't affect me. This doesn't apply to me. What you're saying sounds nice, but I'm not a racist person. Okay, listen. I'm not here to argue with you about whether or not you're racist. That's not what this is intended to be about. This is a talk about society itself and how it works. The arrangements of how things came to be. And there are elements of our American story with all the goodness that I just talked about that also need to be exposed. The economic inequities, the political disagreements, the issues with certain parts of our industries and our entertainment, things that we throw out at ourselves as if they're normal. Even how we perpetuate this division, this so-called fake division between Democrats and Republicans, there are aspects of who we are as Americans that must be called out, even at the same time that we celebrate the goodness of our experiment. I'm doing both this morning. And whether or not you think you're racist, we are all complicit in this problem. I would like to get to a place when I'm no longer just sitting up here talking about U.S. citizens being killed by its own government, and we can finally have a real conversation about the issues that are being used to divide us as Americans. We can finally have a real conversation about the fact that what perpetuates racist thinking in this country, what has allowed institutional systemic racism to have its place in our country, is because people in power have been successful at driving us against each other, forcing us to fight against each other, using these fake labels that have no meaning and no power, but only the intent to keep us further apart, talking about what we disagree with and less about what we agree with. It's all right, y'all. It's all right. It's all right. I get it. I get it. I get it. Because we persist in a culture where division has been normalized. And it's difficult for people like me who want to talk about more than just the news of the day and really get to the root of the issue. I'm going to say this one more time. I am glad to be a part of a community that is doing affordable housing because we have touched upon the very heart, the very rhythm, the very soul of what's wrong with this country. And as long as economic inequity has been normalized by America, we will never experience the power and breadth and soul of who we are as Americans, yet we will not even realize who we truly can be as a beacon, as a city on a hill. I want to get to a day when I can honor the life and story of Alex Preddy, and then I can sit at the table with Republicans and Democrats at the table and say, you know, we agree with a whole lot more than we disagree with. And as soon as we work for those things, my God, much more. Okay, all right, moving on. I am glad that my sharing with you today is an acknowledgement that people like us, we go deeper than just what the media says. We dig deeper than just what social media dictates. We want to know more than just about what drives people apart. We want to ask the hard questions. We want to be curious about what's possible. We want to bring those divisions together. We want to push back against the few who are dictating every single aspect of our lives so that the rest of us can take the power that we were given when this nation was founded. I want to get to a point where people of all stripes, all religions, all economic stripes can look at each other and say, you know, this country is for the rest of us, not just for the few. I love you, Alex. I love you, Renee. And I want this country to honor your story by having a real conversation. Now, I don't know how we'll get there. I don't know what the next steps are. We got a whole lot to do at the national level to have this conversation that I'm talking about this morning. I understand that what I'm talking about is big stuff. I understand that what I'm talking about is going to move some needles. I understand that what I'm talking about is going to irritate a lot of folk in power. I understand that what I'm talking about is going to upset the uniparty complex. I understand that what I'm talking about is going to upset the media complex. I understand that what I'm talking about is going to destroy the industrial complex that we've played into militarily over the past 50 years. I understand that. I get that. And I'm not looking for that to be fixed today. But I will throw one little thing out. One little thing out that I think we can do. One thing I think we can do. Kate, I'm going to need your help with this. For the month of February, I would like to create a calendar. And I want to call it something like 28 Days on Anti-Racism. And every day of the month of February, we'll have some activity that we commit to do as a community. Now, that activity doesn't have to be grand or grandiose or It, it could be so insignificant to your neighbor, but it means a lot to me and to your community and to what this world needs right now. So, Kate, I'm going to ask you and our planning team to get with me this week to have a conversation about what our 28 days on anti-racism can look like. And I want it to look like a number of things. It can be posts, it can be acts of kindness, it can be things I haven't even thought about because I'm standing here preaching. I don't know. I'm looking for something diverse. I'm looking for something powerful. And I'm looking for something that we can all do, Kate. Yeah, ideas. Yeah, 28 days on anti-racism that we can do as a community. And then my job, as you do those simple things, as you do those reasonable things, as you do those things that you can do with your time and your money and your text messages and your heart, as you do those things, it's going to be my job to make sure the community knows that you're doing it. I will do my job. I will communicate that we're doing what we can with what we have, and we're doing it together. And I hope that it can be an example to the rest of this community about what good-natured, good-hearted people can accomplish when we work together. And then we trust the universe to handle the rest. Hold the comment. Hold the comment. Are you on board with this? Are you on board with 28 days on anti-racism? And are you on board with Kate and your team and myself putting together a calendar that we think we can all reasonably do? Okay. All right. Yeah. And then finally, let me be very clear about this. We've got about, let me think, we've got maybe a week before February 1st. So if you have an idea, and Kate, I know you got a bunch of ideas. That's why I looked at you 5 minutes ago, because you're always good. If you have an idea, please let me know as soon as possible. Send me an email. Come see me in the office. I am gathering ideas this week because I want to announce this calendar next week so that we can execute on it for the month of February. So do not delay. Do not wait. Do your searches, look for your examples, look for your stories, look for all the things that are working. Send me some ideas because I'm gathering those this week. Somebody say this week. Say it again, this week. And as we do it, as we trace the steps on anti-racism together, we are grateful for the power of divine spirit and grateful divinity. The mother heart that makes this possible, that gives us the strength and the courage and the wisdom to do this work, who reminds us that we have everything that we need inside of us to do it. We're not waiting for someone to save us. We can save ourselves. Thank you, Mother Spirit, that we can be your children of light in these uncertain times. Amen? And may it be so. I'm going to ask you to stand as you are able. Let's sing a song of confirmation. It's called Let There Be Peace on Earth. And grab a hand, grab a hand, grab a hand, grab a hand, grab a hand. All right, you can be seated. You can be seated. Okay, we're going to wrap this thing up, but I just want to thank you for hanging in there with me and your fellow travelers through this process. It has been such a joy. I'm so glad we went to Monuments last week because that's the reason why I'm offering this idea for the 28 days. I was inspired by Monuments to offer this idea for us for the month of February, and I'm so excited about that. Patricia, were you going to say something? Oh, you wanted to do that? Okay. All right. Well, give me one moment. Let me just pass out. So Kate is passing out a copy of the latest articles that we just did for the housing project. I want you to see this because it gives you the latest and greatest. It was just put in the Orange County Register on Thursday and the Daily Pilot, and it's going to be in the Indy and the Stew News this week. So I want you to have this for your own records, so you can read what we're putting out into the press and into the culture, into the public. All right. Really good articles there. It includes myself and Bill Whitty from Related California, your leadership team, everybody involved. A beautiful set of articles that I want you to read when you have time. All right? All right. And then the only other thing I want to say quickly is that I'm grateful again to see the Baker and McBride families here today. I've been holding you in my heart these past few days, and I will continue to do that, because I love y'all so very deeply. And I think Jim is with us now. He's smiling at us right now, and he's grateful that you're here this morning. I'm grateful that you came, and I'm sure that it may not have been as easy for you these past few days to get up and move about, but still, you have each other, the gift of your connection, and that matters so very deeply. Stay together. Take it one step at a time, and know that you are loved. It is so. Okay. All right, let's take a moment. And I want to encourage you, just like Roxanna did when she sang, "I Just Called to Say I Love You." Think of one person this week that needs to hear you say that. Just one person. I'm not asking you to call 20 people. Just one person who needs to hear you say, "I love you," this week. One a day. Yeah. If you want to do one a day, sure. I like it. The more the merrier. Think of one person who needs to hear you say those 3 words this week: "I love you." And then I encourage you to tell them, and to tell it with your heart, your soul and spirit. And even more than that, if you're so daring, if you're so willing, tell them why you love them. Tell them why. I mean, I know me personally, the way my brain works, when someone tells me what they think about me, I want to know why, Robbie. Yeah. So if you say, "I love you," and you feel so daring, tell them why. That makes a lot of difference, right, Mike? It does. So tell them how you feel, tell them why, and I think that helps. I think that's the good that is yours to do. All right. Let us stand as we are able. I want to sing one more song with you. It's called "This Little Light of Mine." And as we do it, Patricia, come on up here. Would you say just a few words of blessing for us as we take our steps this week, as we say the love in our hearts?
Pastor Ron, I love you.
I love you.
And I love you because you have courage and you uplifted your talk today rather than focusing on what all of us already know.
Yes.
And what I also know is that systemically,
Yes.
the real core of it is duality. There's only racism because we believe in duality.
Yes. Say it.
And the one and only have us a unified family.
Yes.
Everything in the universe is connected.
Say it.
From the animals, the earth, the air, the water. Every bite of food we take
Yes.
And we touch everyone.
Yes.
Every time we open our hearts and send out love to the whole world.
Yes.
You think, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters.
It matters.
It reverberates through the entire planet.
Yes.
And what we can do is, the great teacher said, know thyself. To know thyself is to discover the presence of the one within you.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as you are
And we can do the
exhorting
28
us,
days. We can do the 28 days together.
absolutely, because every time you let go of a hateful thought
Mm-hmm.
or anger
Mm-hmm.
or separation from someone,
Yes.
you've created space within yourself
Mm-hmm.
where more light can come in.
Yes.
So only light is
Only
going to
light.
dispel the darkness.
So well said. Now you had no idea that my closing song for the morning is "This Little Light of Mine." So let's sing it together. Thank you. Mwah. Let's sing it. Let's sing it. I love y'all. Have a great rest of your day. We've got food and drink outside. Please enjoy. Please enjoy.